Okay, today's project is to make a calendar like this. But it's not any old calendar, it's a calendar that can be personalised by you beforehand. Now to get the calendar part, we're going to go to Google Calendar. So you just go onto the internet and we find Google Calendar. And here we can see we can tailor this, we can have it set for the day, for the week, for the month. But it is actually a live calendar. So although there are some days on it, like this Christmas Day, Boxing Day, you can, and there's a couple here that I've put in for the training courses, but you can actually tailor this. So if I click in a cell, I could type something in, let's say my birthday, and create an event. So you can actually tailor this calendar like this to suit yourself. So when you're happy with the calendar as it is, then what we need to do is save it out as a file that we can use in Photoshop later. So to do that, we're going to go up here to the More menu and we're going to click Print. Now I'll bring down the print dialog box for you here so you can see it. There is a print button, but that's not what we're going to use. We're going to use the Save As button. And I'm going to click on that and it's going to save it down into my Downloads folder. Now I can see that if I just click this little down arrow, I'll just move it up so you can see. If I just click this little down arrow and click Show in Folder, you'll see it'll bring up my Downloads folder, and in it I've got a version of the calendar in the PDF format. So I'll just minimize that and minimize that and minimize that, and we're back to Photoshop. So first thing we need to do is to make our background. So I'm going to create a blank piece of paper. So I'm going to go to File and New, International Paper, and I'll leave it set to A4 and all the defaults and click OK. So we've now got our background. So now let's start by putting the calendar in it. So let's go and find the calendar, and there it is. Just move it off to the side, and then all I'm going to do is click and drag it and drop it into Photoshop. Now Photoshop will recognise that it is a PDF and it will open it as a smart object. So all I need to do is click OK. Now here it is. You can tell it's a smart object because it's got this cross in it. Now I can move it around, but I need to resize it. So I'm going to hold the Shift key down. I'm going to grab a corner handle and just drag it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to let go and I'm going to reposition it somewhere like there. That looks good. And now I'm going to double click to accept it. Now that looks good, but there's a couple of pieces of text on the top here that I'd like to get rid of. So I'll just zoom in on that for you so you can have a look at that. So here we've got that piece and that piece that I'd like to get rid of. Now I could erase them, but for this exercise I'm just going to cover them up. So to do that, I'm going to need a new layer. So I'm going to go down to the new layer icon and click on it to create a brand new layer at the top. I'm then going to select my marquee tool, my rectangular marquee, and I'm going to click and drag a marquee just across that text. There we go. Now what I want to do is to fill that with white, so it basically just covers it up. So I need white as my foreground colour. Now here I haven't got white anywhere, so to do that I'm going to press the D key to reset the colours to black and white, and then the X key to bring white as my foreground colour. And I'm going to fill from that colour with a keyboard shortcut of Alt and Backspace. There we go. And then I'm going to do Control and D to deselect that selection. And there we have it, it's gone. It's just hidden. And you can see in the layers panel I've just got a thin layer of white here that covers it up. Job done. I'm going to Control and minus to zoom out a couple of times. And we're cooking with gas. Right, the next thing I need is some text. So I'm going to grab my text tool. I'm going to click somewhere appropriate in the image, and let's type December 2014. Now here we've got white text on a white background, so you can't see it very well, so I'll just select all that and we'll change that to say a dark grey. Yeah, that don't look bad, and click OK. And now I'll just move that over a little bit and then press the return key. Okay, now it may not be exactly aligned, but we'll deal with that later on. We'll deal with that in a minute. So now we need an image. Okay, well, I've got an appropriate image in a folder on my desktop. It's a little winter scene because it is December. So again, I'm going to just move that to the side. I'm going to click and drag and drop it in. And again, it opens it up as a smart object. I'm going to drag it to reposition it. Hold the shift key down again. Drag out the corner handle. And leave it somewhere there. And then double click inside to accept it. Now I've deliberately left it slightly offset to demonstrate to you how we're going to align everything later. Now it's a little bit bare, so I'd like this image to have a little bit of a stroke round it just to separate it. So I'm going to go over to the layer and I'm going to double click over in this corner, and that'll bring up the blending options or the layer style dialog. And the one I want is stroke. And I'll just show you what that does. If I make the stroke size bigger, you'll see that the corners are rounded, and I don't want that. I want them square, and that's because this position is set to outside. What I want is to set it to inside, and what that will do is give me some nice sharp corners. Now I don't want it that big, so I'm going to drop this down just to something like, yeah, maybe 11-12 pixels, something like that. That's good. And let's go for a drop shadow just to separate it a little bit from the background. Double click on the drop shadow, give it a bit of distance, and then we'll soften it a bit with the size. I'm liking that. I'm going to click OK to accept all that. Right, next I'd like to align everything. You can see it's a little bit out of kilter here. When we read it all in this. Now I could just drag everything and guess or put some guides, but I'm going to use the move tool to align everything perfectly for me. So if I go over to my move tool or press V on the keyboard and click it, you'll see here are all the align options. Now they're all grayed out. I can't use them. Now why is that? Well, let me explain. To align objects, you need to have objects to align. Makes sense, doesn't it? Here we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 objects that we want to align. So I need to select them all first. So I'm going to click in the first one, and then I'm going to go down to the last one. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to click on the last one. So now I've selected them all. And it's by magic, you'll see all these come to life now, and I can actually use them. Now what I want is this one, which is the align horizontal centers. And if I click on it and you watch the screen, you'll see everything jumps and everything now is perfectly aligned right down the center. Okay, so there you have it. How to make a personalized calendar using Photoshop and Google Calendar.